You ever have one of those nights where time slows down, where the world goes quiet, and you suddenly feel like you're watching your life from outside your body? Yeah, that was me on a Wednesday night. The first time I truly saw the cracks in my perfect little world. I was sitting at the kitchen table with my second cup of stale coffee, my laptop open, pretending to review real estate listings for a client I honestly didn't care about. My wife Vanessa was upstairs getting ready for a team dinner. Her words, not mine. I remember hearing her heels click against the hardwood floor above. The sound sharp, deliberate. Too deliberate. We've been married for 9 years. 9 damn years. And I thought I knew her. I thought I knew everything. Her favorite wine, the exact way she liked her back, rubbed after work. The spot behind her left shoulder blade that always knotted up when she was stressed. I thought I knew the woman who still kissed my cheek before every shift I took at the firehouse. I thought I knew the woman who once cried because I left a note in her lunchbox telling her she made me proud. But I didn't. Because that night, Vanessa wasn't getting ready for dinner with her colleagues. She was getting ready to betray me. And the worst part? She thought I'd be okay with it. It started with a phone call. My cell rang. Private number. I don't usually pick those up, but something in me just did. Is this Caleb Foster? A man's voice asked. Who's asking? My name's Marcus W.N. I work with your wife, Vanessa. I know this is going to sound strange, but I think we should meet. I got something you probably need to hear. My stomach dropped. What kind of something? There was a pause. It's about her and another man. She's planning something for Friday night, and trust me, it's not a surprise birthday party. I scoffed. You serious? I'm dead serious. Look, I know you don't know me, and this might sound insane, but I've been where you are, and I made the mistake of ignoring the signs. You don't want to do that. I was silent, my mind racing. Every laugh Vanessa had let slip when texting. Every late meeting that didn't add up. Every unexplained perfume that wasn't hers. Where? I finally asked. The Monarch Cafe. Tomorrow. Noon. I'll be wearing a navy trench coat. You'll want to hear this. That night I couldn't sleep. Vanessa came home around 11:15. Not too late, but late enough to make me question. She didn't smell like wine or food. She smelled like designer cologne. Not mine. Her lipstick was fresh. Her hair too perfect for someone who claimed she spent the evening discussing data reports. You still awake? She asked softly. I nodded from the couch. Couldn't sleep. She leaned down and kissed my forehead. You worry too much. Get some rest, okay? I said nothing. I watched her walk up the stairs, her silhouette swallowed by the darkness. She didn't look back. She never used to go to bed without me. The next day at noon, I walked into the Monarch Cafe. I spotted Marcus instantly. He wasn't the type of guy you'd forget. Sharply dressed, but his eyes carried a weight, like someone who'd seen too much. You Caleb? He asked as I approached. I nodded. Start talking. Talking, he sighed, slid a manila envelope across the table. Your wife's been seeing a man named Drew Callahan. He's head of sales at our firm. They've been sneaking around for a couple months. Started innocent, after-hours meetings, lunch breaks, but now it's escalating. Friday night they've booked a room at the Alderwood Suites, room 512. Vanessa told her assistant she'd be out of town for a conference. My hands clenched around the envelope. Why are you telling me this? Why do you care? His face darkened. Because 3 years ago, my wife did the same thing. I didn't do a damn thing about it. I believed her lies. 2 months later, she left me for the same guy she swore was just a friend. And now I live in a studio apartment while she drives the car I paid for and plays house with him. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I swallowed hard. You have proof? He nodded toward the envelope. Photos, text messages, a copy of the hotel reservation. She booked it herself, didn't even bother hiding it. I didn't remember driving home. I sat in the car for over an hour, envelope unopened, hands gripping the wheel until my knuckles turned white. My chest ached, my throat burned. I thought about throwing the envelope into the river near our house. I thought about pretending it never happened. But I knew better. That night, I waited until Vanessa was asleep. Then I opened the envelope. The first photo was of her in a blue dress I bought for our anniversary, laughing, her hand on Drew's chest. The next was of them leaving a wine bar, his hand on her lower back. Then a printout of a text exchange. Vanessa, can't wait to have you all to myself Friday. Drew, you're going to love room 512. Bring that red lace set you wore in Vegas. Vegas. That was a trip she said she took alone for a work retreat. Everything clicked, and in that moment, something in me shattered. Not just the marriage, not just the love, but a part of me I didn't even know existed. But I didn't cry. Not then, because something else replaced the pain. A cold, simmering fury, and a thought I couldn't shake. If she thought I'd just sit here and take it, she had no idea who the hell she married. I sat there, the photos spread across my lap like shards of glass, every image slicing deeper than the last. Her smile, her touch, the way she leaned into him. That was my wife. No, scratch that. She used to be. Now, I didn't know who the hell she was. I closed the envelope, slid it under the couch cushion, and leaned back with my head against the wall. The ceiling fan above me spun in slow, lazy circles, mocking me. Maybe, I tried to tell myself, it was just lust. A phase, a mistake she'd wake up from. But then I remembered the text. Bring that red lace set you wore in Vegas. She packed it willingly. She was looking forward to it. The next morning, I put my plan into motion. I woke before Vanessa and made her breakfast like I always did. Eggs just the way she liked. Soft, slightly runny. Toast, lightly brown. Coffee with almond milk, not cream. She came downstairs in a robe, hair damp, humming like nothing was wrong. You're sweet, she smiled, planting a kiss on my cheek. What's the occasion? Just miss making breakfast for you, I lied. I studied her. She looked radiant, fresh-faced, light, like a woman in love. Not with me, though, with the other man. Drew. That name burned in my throat like acid. After she left, I made my first call to an old friend from the department, Corey Nash, retired detective. He owed me a favor. Hey, Corey, I need a guy. Discreet, good with surveillance. He didn't ask why. He just gave me a name. Cameron Riker. Private, quiet, expensive. Perfect. 1 hour later, I was in Cameron's office. A dim, organized space smelling faintly of tobacco and printer ink. He leaned back in his chair, arms folded. You want eyes on your wife? Every move, every minute, starting now? Any reason you think she's about to cheat? She's not about to. She already is. By 3 p.m., I had the contract signed and Riker's team already tailing her. By 6 p.m., I had footage of her grabbing drinks with Drew after work. Same bar, same booth, same touch on her back. Friday was 2 days away. Plenty of time to prepare. Plenty of time to burn down the world she thought she could play me in. That night, Vanessa came home smelling like citrus and white wine. I was in the garage, wiping down the hood of my truck when she stepped in. She smiled. You're out here late. Just needed air. She leaned against the doorframe, twirling a strand of her hair. You've been quiet lately. Everything okay? I nodded. Everything's perfect. I let her kiss me, let her touch me, let her feel safe. Because the safest place is always right before the storm. Thursday came fast. Too fast. Vanessa was chirpy in the morning, practically floating around the kitchen like she didn't have a damn care in the world. She wore that powder blue blouse, the one I bought her last Christmas, and paired it with heels I hadn't seen in months. Her perfume hit different that day. Sweet, but sharp. She called it her feel-good outfit. I call it what it really was, her cheating uniform. She sat across from me, nibbling on toast, scrolling through her phone while sipping her coffee. Big plans for the weekend? I asked casually. She didn't even look up. Not really. Might catch up on work. Maybe go visit my mom if I can find the time. Liar. And that lie. It didn't just hurt. It lit a fire inside me. A cold, clean fire. I didn't show it though. I just smiled and nodded, playing the part of the clueless husband. Because Friday night, she'd walk into that hotel room thinking she was in control, and I'd already be 5 steps ahead. That afternoon, I met with Cameron again. He handed me a flash drive. This has footage from yesterday and today. She's meeting him again tonight at 7 o'clock. Same bar, same routine. Room still reserved? I asked. Confirmed. Alderwood Suites, room 512. Reservation is under his name. She's using her corporate card for incidentals. I nearly laughed at that. She's billing our marriage for her affair. Unbelievable. You want me to wire the room for audio too? No, I said. She won't be using it. Cameron raised an eyebrow. You're calling it off? I shook my head slowly. No, she is. Back at home, I waited for her to get back. She was late, of course. Came in around 10:15, heels in hand, hair slightly tousled, and cheeks a little too flushed for someone who supposedly went out with coworkers. Hey, she said with that fake lazy voice. Sorry, had a long meeting followed by drinks. You okay? Just tired, I replied. You hungry? No, we had appetizers. She kissed my cheek and walked off like she wasn't carrying someone else's cologne on her dress. Friday morning came like a punch to the gut. She was already dressed before I even got out of bed. Early start? I asked, yawning. Yeah, she said, barely glancing at me. Lots to do before the weekend. I sat up, watching her pack a small overnight bag into the trunk of her car from the window. There was the moment. She was really doing it. She was going through with it. I called my divorce attorney that afternoon. Told her to have the papers ready, but don't serve them just yet. Wait for my signal, I said. It's going to be a memorable one, because tonight, Vanessa wasn't going to find pleasure in room 512. She was going to find the end of her comfortable little fantasy. By 6:30 p.m., Vanessa was gone. She left the house in a red dress I hadn't seen in years, the same one she wore on our honeymoon night. I watched from the window as Drew's sleek black sedan pulled up. She didn't hesitate. She strutted out, heels clicking like gunshots on pavement, tossed her overnight bag in the back seat, and slid into the passenger side like she was walking into paradise. I didn't blink. I didn't rage, because her paradise was about to become her reckoning. Cameron's crew was already stationed inside Alderwood Suites. They had cameras in room 512, a GPS on Drew's car, and audio recording equipment capturing everywhere between them. At 7:12 p.m., they checked in. At 7:19, they entered the room. By 7:26, Vanessa was sitting on the edge of the bed, champagne in hand. Drew was behind her, kissing her neck. And at exactly 7:30, the screen on the TV in their room flickered on. My face appeared, pre-recorded. Cal, composed, dangerous. Hope you're enjoying the champagne, Vanessa. And Drew, nice to finally meet the man who thought he could take what's mine. But let me be clear, you didn't take anything. She gave it away. But here's what neither of you expected. Vanessa dropped her glass. Drew backed away, confused. You thought I'd cry, beg, break? Nah, I just made sure you'll never forget tonight. Check the nightstand. Inside the drawer was a large envelope. She opened it with trembling fingers. Divorce papers. A list of every lie she'd told. Every meeting. Every message. Every photo. At the bottom, a transfer receipt. I'd sold our home that morning. The house she thought she'd return to. Gone. I made sure the front door lock was changed by noon. All her belongings packed neatly in storage. The bill paid for 1 month. After that, auctioned. Her car, repossessed. Her access to our shared accounts, frozen. She didn't even have enough left in her personal account to get an Uber home. Vanessa returned to the house the next morning around 10 a.m., probably assuming she could explain it all away. She stood at the front door, suitcase in hand, face pale and puffy from crying. She rang the bell. I opened it halfway, looked her dead in the eyes and said, "You made your choice last night." I didn't. We didn't go through with it, Caleb, I swear. Doesn't matter, I said. You showed up. You lied. You were ready to. That's all I need. Tears streamed down her face. Please, just talk to me. I stepped back, and for a moment, she thought I'd let her in. Then Melissa, her younger sister, stepped forward from behind me, wrapping her arm around mine. Vanessa's mouth fell open. You remember Melissa? I said. She's been helping me through this. Vanessa choked on her breath. You're sleeping with my sister? No, Melissa said coolly. He's healing with me. Vanessa let out a guttural sob, dropped her suitcase, and fled. Months passed. Vanessa tried to fight the divorce. She lost badly. The evidence was overwhelming. Even her lawyer walked out mid-hearing when I played the recording from room 512. She ended up with nothing. No alimony, no house, no car, no sympathy. As for me, I rebuilt. I focused on my work, my peace, and yes, Melissa. It didn't start out as love, but she showed me loyalty when I was at my lowest. And that's something Vanessa could never offer. Now we're building something real. And I'll tell you this much. Betrayal hurts, but surviving it? That's where the power is. And making sure the person who betrayed you never forgets? That's the revenge. It had been 6 months. I hadn't heard from Vanessa since the divorce was finalized. No emails, no letters, just silence. Until today. Her message came in at 3:17 a.m. A long, rambling text filled with half apologies, self-pity, and a single sentence that hit harder than the rest. I didn't know how good I had it until I lost you. I stared at it for a while, not because it moved me, but because it confirmed something I already suspected. She never really loved me. She loved what I gave her. The stability, the comfort, the identity of being with a man who built a life around her. But when she thought I'd always be there, she gambled it all and lost. I never replied. I didn't need to. My silence was louder than anything I could have said. Vanessa? She moved in with Drew for a while until he cheated on her with someone younger. Classic. Now she works a receptionist job, lives in a tiny studio, and her name isn't on any lease. She tried to reach out to Melissa too. Didn't go well. Melissa blocked her. As for me, I'm not perfect. I still have nights where the silence creeps in, where memories flicker at the edges of my peace. But I'm not bitter. Not anymore, because surviving betrayal doesn't just change you, it refines you. And the man I am now? He's sharper, smarter, stronger, and finally free.